What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be sharing to make Playtime Co. in Minecraft. This is the Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 Exterior, and this is a new version. Now, if you do not have my Chapter 1, I would advise making the old one. You can absolutely get away with it, but this does go around my Chapter 1. Also, I will have a revamp of Chapter 1 eventually. It doesn't matter which version. The room layout does not change for the most part. There's one thing that gets affected, but I'll talk about that anyway. But yeah, here it is. Everything will be that is shown will be part of it, other than obviously like the forest. The parking lot will be. Texturing will be talked about, not entirely shown fully, because that would take 4 years. But yeah, as you can see, this thing is massive. Also, the detailing on the roof, I'm not sure about yet, because I did that with a structure block. But yeah, this should be a fun one. And, yeah, with that being said, I guess, good lord, this is taking forever to fly around. Enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. I am so glad I'm doing this in parts, by the way, because, oh my goodness, that took like, forever just to do one little wall. In this part, we do, like, the front main section, the two cyan bits next to it, and the red curves over here we get marked, and, like, at least the facade of them built. Anyway, yeah, that's all. Alrighty, so as what should have been mentioned in the intro, you do need Chapter 1's build for this for a couple of things. If you aren't using my Chapter 1, you can probably get away with it, just you need to make sure that these arches are the same size, probably, and that, you know, there will be a couple things that will kind of work weird, but you can still use it as a baseline at that point and be like, okay, here's how this is shaped, and, you know, change it if you need. So we're going to start with the main entrance, and I will also point out, you need Make a Friend, and that's as far as you need. You don't need the Huggy Vent Chase and all of that. In theory, that all should stay underground based on the ground level. So, you probably shouldn't have this, but if you do have this row of gray concrete here, I'm going to remove it. I don't actually think it matters. I know the side there doesn't matter. But anyway, if you start from the main entrance, doesn't really matter if it's the old or new one, because I do realize there's a new one. It probably isn't out yet, the upgrade for it, which I'll have eventually. But, if it is, then it doesn't matter which version you have, because the rooms are the same size. Anyway, you want to start by getting out the following. Cyan concrete, smooth quartz slabs, or smooth quartz blocks, excuse me. Also smooth quartz slabs, I was just thinking ahead. Warp slabs, yellow terracotta, mangrove trapdoors, mangrove fence, and I guess we're gonna go red terracotta and block of coal. We might as well just get this entire entrance thing done. So I'll explain things as we go because they're not all important necessarily. To the sides of the doors, it doesn't really matter what you have because they're blocked off anyway. But essentially, if you take the leftmost door, you want to go off the left of each of these, either lime terracotta or they could be copper if it's the new one. And you want to place a cyan concrete to the left, which will extend out by a block. The floor level will be here. We'll not worry about that quite yet, but later we'll probably start filling that in a little bit. This row of 3 cyan you can bring up with an additional 4. And then extend right by 3. Up 1. Right 1. Up 1. Right 1. Down 1. Right 1. Down 2. Left 1, and then down by 4. Maybe down by 5. Yeah, it should be down by 5, my bad. I, placed the block in the wrong spot. You can fill this little top here with cyan concrete just kind of in the center, and off of the bottom and top of the black glass here, you're going to place warp slabs. At the bottom row, it'll be regular, at the top, it'll be upside down. If you texture this will blend in better later, but I just kind of made it warped and didn't really think anything else of it. So, I want to make the entrance shape first. I think it'll help us a little bit later. If you take the bottom 2 cyan concrete here on the left, you'll extend them each left by 2. This end row you'll bring up with an additional 1, and then you'll place a row of yellow terracotta to the left of it. That's just 3 tall for now. Except not really, because you do want to bring it up by 6. There's no point in waiting on that. You'll take the top yellow terracotta and you will extend it right by 5. Then go up diagonally right 1. Right by 7. Up diagonally right 1. Right by 9. And then you'll go down till you're basically in line with that die right there. It may or may not be filled further. I just copied the original one, so it doesn't really necessarily matter how it is. We'll bring that out later. It is uneven because of the roof shape it just follows of the inside, so yeah. The left side here, like the kind of top left area where you have cyan already, the rest of this area you can fill in with smooth quartz blocks, including this little one diagonal right there. The right door, you want to place a row of cyan concrete, both right and left of the lime terracotta that'll again stick out a row like so. Extend the one on the left up by 3, and the one on the right up by 4. Extend the top cyan there, left by 3, and then those end 2 cyans can be brought up by 1 each. To the right of this large row of cyan concrete, you'll bring every cyan right by 1 except for the top one. You'll then take the bottom 4 of the next one and extend them right with another cyan, which will just be everything but the top 2 of that row. Same thing with this one off the bottom and top rows of black glass. You want the rows of upside down or regular warp slabs. The rest of this front is smooth quartz blocks. Now, obviously, you're leaving the window open, but you are placing smooth quartz slabs on the top and bottom. The only difference is the top left slab will be an upside down warp slab rather than an upside down smooth quartz slab. It will look a little weird, I think, for now. But, well, it looks weird to me, I think, because of the texturing. Yeah, it looks so smooth, I don't know. But I also went a little bit crazy with the texturing. You'll take the yellow terracotta and extend it towards you with 2 rows, so it'll stick out by 2. I just thought 2 looked better than 1 and also made everything else work better because essentially that's the culprit right there of all of our problems. Probably would have worked better without that because I could have pushed the next segment in and then, you know, maybe out, I think, from that a little bit, but those are the culprit. So I would recommend opening the middle door. That'll be something I'll go over with the chapter 1 revamp. I just have, like, literally I removed the middle 2 rows of lime terracotta and placed another one inside, but it's not really anything crazy. What you can do from this point, regardless, is you can take the yellow terracotta on the top, and just the top of this. And so I'm going to take either of the edges of yellow, and I'm going to bring it back by 18. Try not to get over the glass with that, although you can if you need. So I'm just going to fill in basically where there isn't glass with the yellow terracotta. This may change. I'm just confirming this really quick. You see I'll have 7 blocks behind, and just to check on the other one, yeah, I have 6. So these windows end up getting shifted back a block on that revamp. That's not really something I'm going to worry about with this. I'm just going to kind of build around how it is. But yeah, and then you can just kind of coat the yellow terracotta as you would expect. Again, just making sure you don't go over the black glass. But I didn't realize I changed that. Although that was also, like, I remember I did the first room or some of it, and then I just kind of never touched it again until I did, and that was a lot later, but yeah. So I am just going to literally go around it and not really think too hard about that. And that'll be something I will mention again on the revamp. Hopefully, if I remember. But if I use this one like I should, then, you know, I'll notice for sure. Unless I just forget that the glass gets pushed back. That's also an option. It's not one that I would like, but it's an option. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am, for the most part. Anyway, you should have this. This does unfortunately change the next step. So, basically, if you take the back row of yellow terracotta, we're going to do our best to not have it change. You want to take this back left yellow right here. And from it, you will count right by 5. You'll place a red terracotta, extend it forward 1, and then you can break it. You can break the yellow in your path because it'll go forward diagonally, right 1, and then forward 1 again. Extend the frontmost red up with a block of coal, but the other 3 you'll just bring up with another red terracotta. From this block of coal, you'll go forward diagonally, right by 2, right with a red, forward diagonally, right 1, right 3, and then you're going to go back diagonally right 1, which you will break the yellow here as well. And then from there, you're going to go back diagonally right, but this time you'll sit on the yellow with a block of coal. Then back diagonally right again. Then with a red. Then back one. Back diagonally right one. Back one you should be overhanging now. Back diagonally left one. Back one, and then back diagonally left by two with block of coal. Because of the smooth quartz thingy back here going further back, we just end up having that overhang for now, but that's not really a huge deal. So yeah, when we push these back, this red will end up bleeding down into this yellow. I would actually probably bring it down either way, but it'll just kind of sit on the glass awkwardly. It doesn't break the glass, it just kind of sits there, but yeah. So what you want to do is, if you take this row of 4 red here, you'll take the center 2 and extend them up with an additional red terracotta. On the left side, this row of 2, you'll take the back 1 and do the same as well. From that point, you want to, from each of these reds, which will, well, okay, you can kind of just copy what you have over there. So if I take this red, I'll go forward diagonally right 1, or from here, I'll go back diagonally out 1. And then I'll go out with a red. And then I'll kind of diagonally connect with 2 block of coal, like so. I can take the 2 red on either side of this row of 2, and I'll extend them up by 1 and connect them together. Which really only applies on the right and front. On the left, it'll just be bringing this one up 1 and then back 1. It's a pretty clean cutoff, you'll see. It's almost like an exact quarter is gone. So from this point, you're going to take these reds and you're going to go, I guess, diagonally inward with red terracotta towards one another, or just towards nothing over here. And then you're going to go, you're basically going to bring each block of coal up with another block of coal. I guess for lack of a better way to describe it. If you then take this middle row of 4 red terracotta, again, you'll bring the center 2 up by 1, which on the left is just going to be the back 1 still. And then from there, you're going to go kind of diagonally along with a red terracotta either side of it. Then you're going to place a block of coal just kind of on top of this red here. And then they should diagonally connect together perfectly with another block of coal. Hopefully this is easy enough to follow. At the back, we can actually bring this a little bit further along. So if you take this row of 2 block of coal at the far back, you're going to go up diagonally left with a block of coal. Left with a red terracotta, and then up diagonally left by 1. This red will be useful in a second, I'm pretty sure. If you head back to the front, between these 2 red terracottas, it'll be the diagonal ones. You're going to go up diagonally in and place a couple of red terracotta like so. And again, on the left, you just have the 1, and on the back, we should already have 1 placed. You're then going to go from it diagonally in with a red terracotta. You could be making the whole thing if you wanted in theory. I just don't really see the point in doing that. And then you should just be able to go in with a block of coal, and they'll connect together diagonally. Almost at the top, I swear. At least marginally close. You want to do the same thing with these 2 reds. You're going to go up diagonally in and connect them together. And really from the back and left, you're just going to go up diagonally in from that singular guy, like so. And then from there, you're actually going to extend each of those reds in by 1. So like kind of towards the center, like so. And then if you bring those inner rows of red out with 2 block of coal, they should connect on a right angle. And then you can place another block of coal just inside of that to create little 2x2 squares. Up diagonally, you'll place red terracotta filling in the center. Now, when you fill this in, it's going to be the full right side, and essentially you're just kind of still leaving that quarter open. And you see it is literally an exact quarter, which is kind of funny, but I mean, it's a little bit cut off at the back. So I'll explain this because there's 2 domes, obviously, you see. Because of how far back this one is, it just would look wrong if I used it properly. So I essentially have it there, and we'll coat over it later. But yeah, this is kind of the false dome that creates the illusion and makes it look just better overall. Because if you don't do that, it's just going to be like a million blocks back, and it just doesn't look right. Anyway, you want to take the top left-hand yellow terracotta on this little entrance point at the front, and you want to count right by 1 and place on this block. We're going to make the letters. You're going to crouch place 2 mangrove trapdoors opened up against the right half of that block. Off the bottom one, you're going to crouch and place a mangrove trapdoor off the top half of it. And then on top of that one, you're going to place one open to the right. On top of that one, you'll just place one regularly like so. From the, essentially, if you were to stand to the right of the P here, you just kind of want to stand here. And on the block you're standing on, you're going to place two mangrove trapdoors opened up against the right half of their blocks. Extend the bottom one right with a trapdoor on the ground. You'll count right and then you'll go up on this diagonal and you'll place two mangrove trapdoors opened up against the right of this block. You'll then leave a gap of one and place two opened up against the left of that block. Between each set of trapdoors, you'll place another trapdoor at the top. This yellow terracotta, which is the right half, or the A sits on the right half of, I guess, or the left half of the block, you'll count right by two and place a mangrove fence with a trapdoor on top. Off the sides of that trapdoor, you're going to crouch place another trapdoor, open up against it to give you a Y. Then from the block that fence is on, you'll count right by two and crouch place two trapdoors open up against the right of that block, and then right of that two open up against the left of that, which will give you this. Over either trapdoor, you'll place another trapdoor just kind of going across. The first block on the next diagonal, you'll place two trapdoors opened up against the right of, and then the next block, you'll place two opened up against the left. From the right half of that I, you'll leave a gap of one, and you're going to place two trapdoors opened up against the right of that block. On the next block, you'll do the same. And then on the next two, you'll place trapdoors opened up against the left of them, which will give you this kind of. Over the center set of trapdoors, you're going to place a couple of trapdoors just going across the top like so. From the right half of that, you should be highlighting this yellow. You'll count right by one and place two trapdoors opened up against the right of that block. On the block to the right of it, if you crouch and just place three trapdoors on top of each other without really thinking, it should give you this. And that says Playtime. It's a little weird, I think, to read right now. But once we get the white in, it'll definitely be better. I'm going to have to go lower, I guess, to where the dome is invisible. There you go. Spacing's a little bit weird, but that's what I get for using trapdoors and on a diagonal, so I didn't expect to win anyway. That's like the main section, honestly. I don't really feel like doing the white section right now because I would love to have the arches in for that. What we can do is we can do the cyan other arches that are left and right of the entrance. So if you take the yellow terracotta on both sides, you want to go forward diagonally out with the cyan concrete here on the floor. You'll take this cyan concrete and extend them each forward by 6. Oh, Lord. And then from there, you want to extend them out by 14, which is going to be on the left, and on the right, right. And yeah, you see you'll end just before anything weird goes on over there. And also just in line with that spruce, actually. That's funny. Or what is it on the new one? I think it's yellow terracotta. Either way, you want to place 2 additional rows of cyan concrete on top of both of those. After this, once we do these, I want to get the little, like the sandstone in so we can kind of just get a general feel for where the floor is. It won't really help us on the curved bits because they actually stick out to the point that the sandstone ends, but it'll still just be nice to kind of have. And then from this point at the back, the original cyan concrete you placed, and only that one, you want to extend up by 3. Except I did lie, because you want to extend on the very outside the foremost cyan concretes. Essentially these end 4 right here up by 3 each. Just like so. Connect the top row of cyan concrete together with upside down warp slabs to just follow the trajectory of the shape, which is just a very simple right angle. Nice. And then on top of that, you're going to place 2 rows of cyan concrete going around. Which includes the cyan. It's the cyan and the warp slabs. And yeah, this will kind of give you a point to where you can see how much yellow you're going to need to bring back. Not really something we're going to worry about right now, but that is something that you can see. We'll worry about that once we start to get some of the later stuff in. But, yeah. From this point on both of them, you can take the very front, and I guess I did kind of lie, because you want to extend these outermost cyan concretes up by 1. That is not the outermost cyan concrete. There we go. You'll then go up diagonally in by 1. I gotta do this 4 times. You gotta do it 4 times as well, actually. I don't know why I'm saying I do. Then go up 1. Then go up diagonally in by 2. Then in 1. Then up diagonally in 1, and you'll connect together, and it'll give you what kind of looks like an E on the left side, at least. I think the left is the one that's correct, right? E? Yeah. Look like a lowercase e on the left and a backwards lowercase e on the right. You will extend that cyan concrete back by just 2 rows for now, which will include, I basically am talking about the top of this arch here, but you do want to also fill in the, I guess, floor of it, technically, which is going to be just like this row. Just so we have a little bit of something to build off of for one of the next steps. It's not technically the next one, because that would be lame. I will have a lot more time than I thought, actually, after this. I was like, yeah, no, it'll be video over, but we're like, what, 20 minutes in, I think? I don't know, I've lost track. You should have this. Get rid of your warp slabs and get out smooth quartz stairs, and in each of these, I will explain this twice because it's a little bit weird, but if you take the, not the front row of cyan concrete, but one row back, you want to find the very center one, which should be, I think, this one. Yeah, if you look up at the ceiling, it'll be like the very middle of this row of 5. You can just trace it down. And I placed a placeholder here because left and right of that, you want to place upside down smooth quartz stairs facing inward, and just break whatever placeholders you would have needed. Extend either stair up with 2 blocks, then go up diagonally out 1, and then up 1. The block above the stair on both sides, you'll extend these, well, connect them together with a smooth quartz slab, and then also extend them left and right by 1. Go up diagonally out with slabs from those outermost slabs until you essentially connect into the kind of corner here. And it should look something like that. From the bottom upside down stairs, you'll go out with 2 slabs from either, and then 2 upside down slabs out. You'll end up needing, if you just like place off the wall here, you'll just break the final, or the, I guess, first one you placed. But yeah, it should look like this, essentially. Again, for some reason, looks better textured, even though it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. But if you head to the other one, again, you want to do the same thing. Find the center and just place a placeholder in the out of the middle of the 3 rows. Left and right of it, upside down smooth quartz stairs facing in. Up with 2 blocks from either, and then you'll go up diagonally out and up 1. Connect the bottommost blocks together with slabs and extend them each out with a slab as well. Those slabs can be brought up diagonally and up diagonally out with slabs, upside down and regular, until you hit a corner. The stairs themselves, you'll go out with 2 slabs, and then from that 2 upside down slabs, just making sure if you place off the side, you'll break the first one you placed. And yeah, they should look like this. You can clear your inventory and get out 2 things for now. Black concrete and sandstone. And so, the inside of both of these, you want to fill them in with black concrete. Now, I guess like both the windows on both sides. So essentially the lower window, if you just place off the upside down warp slabs, black concrete, and then just kind of bring it down until it fills everything in. So we would presume that the interior would be flat with this to some extent. Obviously it's not, so, you know, you could add some rooms here and, like, open these. I might end up opening them. I'm not really sure yet what I want to do. I wanted to get through the tutorial before I open anything, and then I'll kind of decide on whether or not I want the windows to actually work, at least for the, I'm talking about for the custom Let's Build I've been doing, which I might do a tutorial on, we'll see. Probably not, but from the back side, you'll actually take the backmost row that we brought back, which is, I guess, the 3rd in total, and you'll just fill this in with black concrete. It should be 1 row behind the quartz. And you see it'll look like this, and that looks a lot better. Again, it still looks weird because it's not textured, but texturing will be the final thing we do, by the way. I'm going to give you all the block palettes, all the methods, and everything, and I'll go through it kind of quicker. It's going to take you a long time. I advise getting, like, 3 people to help you. I'm not gonna lie. I did it solo, and it was like probably 3 or 4 weeks of me just working on it for like an hour or two every day. It's rough. Anyway, so for the sandstone, what you can do is if you take the outermost cyan concrete on both sides, you're gonna kind of go down diagonally forward with a sandstone. You'll then extend it forward by 4, and you should be able to connect them together from there. At the very front. Like so. And then kind of everything inside of that you'll fill in with sandstone, which is just going as far back as you can. If you open a door, I would go under the door, like the middle row of the door itself with the diorite, and then the just front one will be sandstone. So essentially middle and back diorite, front sandstone. But again, that'll be revamp stuff. But yeah, I would even if you want to break that door entirely, one of them or all of them or whatever, that might be just smart so you can go in and out easier. Obviously, I know they'd be closed in the game, but I just think it makes sense to have them open for, you know, you kind of made the exterior. You do want to be able to see it, right? And you also made the interior. You want to see that too. So almost there. Let's have the doorways now. And yeah, it should look like something like what I have, which, that's just a stall right there. Yeah, it should look like this. We can keep working to the left, I guess. The left is the weird side, the right will make more sense. So, you want to start by getting out the following. Terracotta. Red concrete. Smooth quartz blocks. Black concrete might be advised. And what else? Warp stairs? Warped slabs? Warped planks, and I guess we'll go warp trap doors. I know we still have a slot, but I don't really think there's anything else that makes sense. So, just to the left of this left cyan concrete little E, you want to place a row, or just a singular terracotta to the left of this original cyan concrete. Extend it forward by 5. So it should be in line with the end of the terracotta, or the sandstone, I mean, sorry. Extend each terracotta up by 10. This room is the culprit of all of our problems. It just doesn't exist, basically. Like, the arches aren't there. And my thought was, like, maybe it's supposed to be lower, but the ceiling is definitely as tall as the one in there, so I don't know. Unless this row of arches is, like, non-existent, and this is actually supposed to be that row, but I don't know. Like, none of it makes sense. From the terracotta here at the bottom, we're gonna go left with a fun little pattern here. So you want to start with 9 smooth quartz blocks. Then left with 19 red concrete. Three smooth quartz. 25 red concrete. And now we should be over the end of the build by just a little bit here. Then 9 smooth quartz. Then 55 red concrete. Then 8 smooth quartz. Then 22 red concrete. Then you're gonna go back diagonally left 1. Left 1. Back diagonally left 1. Back 1. Back diagonally left 1. Back by 2. Then you'll leave a gap of 2, and then you want to place 10 red concrete and 3 smooth quartz blocks. And I'll break these placeholders here. if you continue to trace this road down, you will notice you're one block off of the wall here. So like if let's say I'll just play some warped here as an example. I'll have one block between the warped and the andesite here, and that should mean that everything is correct to this point. Now, if you end up being off, I wouldn't worry about it too much. There is a spot where that wall can move. However, because I wouldn't like overstress it, because that could in theory be a problem with even the vent on chapter 1. You just don't know. So you could in theory, if you only have make a friend push it over, or, you know, your safer bet is really just waiting a little bit, and worst case, if you have to move the other side of that wall by like 2 blocks, you can. If you're off by a bunch, that's a problem. But if you're only off by 1 or 2, you can definitely get away with moving it. I actually wasn't even sure if it was on or not anyway, to be honest. So, starting from the far right side, I want to start by talking about each smooth quartz row that we have, basically. So we're going to start with this row here at the far right. And we're just going to go each smooth quartz row, and I'm going to give you a, pattern going up from it. And from this first one, it'll be 2 smooth quartz, excuse me. Next one will be 4. Then next one will be 4 black concrete in a smooth quartz. Next will be the same. Next will be 6 quartz. Next will be the same. Then it'll be 4 black and 2 quartz. Then it'll be 4 black and 1 quartz, and then it'll be 5 quartz. Windows that aren't obstructed by anything like this one, you can push the black concrete back a row. I have it uneven like that, and I think it looks fine, but it's up to you. So, the next one, which is the row of 3, doesn't actually have anything going on, so we're just going to skip over it for now, and we're going to head to this guy right here. So, if you take the leftmost smooth quartz, you'll extend it up by 2. Then one to the right will be brought up by 4. Next one will be just 4 black. Next one will be 4 black and a quartz. Next 2 will each be 5 quartz. Next 2 will be 4 black concrete. And then this final one will be 2 quartz. So it should look like that. Next one is totally the hardest one, not actually. We're not even going to worry about the one on the left right now because that wall's blank anyway, other than the doorway. But you can bring this row of smooth quartz up an additional row, and then the middle 6 you'll bring up one more time. Crazy. So we're going to head back to the right, and I kind of want to get the windows marked out. So you'll have some quartz we're going to have to worry about later, but I don't feel like placing all of it in right now because that just is a whole lot of a deal. So this row of 3 smooth quartz here, the furthest left on the furthest right circle, you want to place 2 black concrete on top of that far row. Extend each quartz, or each black concrete, excuse me, left by 5. Then place a row of red. Then 6 black. Then red. 2 black. 2 quartz, since it's both rows anyway. 2 black. Then 1 red. 2 black. 2 red. 2 black. 1 red. 6 black. 1 red. 6 black. 1 red. 2 black. 2 red. And 2 black. And then I guess you can just place 1 red there between. So it should give you this kind of weird strip that almost looks like a tape measure. I don't really know, or like an LED strip, I guess, would kind of make more sense. I'm not really satisfied with that, though, so let's keep going. Off the far side of this row of smooth quartz, again, it'll be these top 2 just to the left of the window. You'll extend left with 6 black concrete. 1 red. 6 black. 1 red. 2 black. 2 quartz. Wow, this feels eerily familiar. 2 black. 1 red. And then you essentially want to just do 6 black, 1 red, repeat. until the end. There's a couple that have quartz, but I'm not really concerned about all that because why would I be? But yeah, and you'll end with like 3 red or something? Something like that. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be the last one. And yeah, you will end with 3 red. And I do need the other route. And yeah. I don't even think we'll finish these arches necessarily. Yeah, I figured this would be a long tutorial. Hence why I was like, you know what? I should make it parts. But maybe I'll go longer because, I don't know. Less parts is better or something like that. I don't make up the rules except I do. You should end up with this. Now, obviously, at the end, you really don't have anything to worry about, but with the rows of 2 black, you'll extend them down to the red concrete original row, or smooth quartz if that's what it is, which is just down by 2 rows. Not particularly crazy. And yeah. It just feels so weird now that I have the, like, we're just making all the 6x2s. 2x4s look weird. They are 2x4 though. So, yeah. Above that, or I guess, like, what's the best way to do this? I don't actually know. I'll tell you what here. We're just gonna place all of the red and go back and place the quartz later. So, you want, for now, 1 row of red above all of the windows, and then everything below is also gonna be red. Now, obviously, if you have quartz or something in the way, just leave it there, because there's no point in destroying it and coming back later for it, but yeah. Just a whole lot of red. And there's also the dirt, but the dirt isn't going to be block for block, although I did do a lot of it based on where it actually was. Specifically with the red, yellow, like the front bottom floor mainly, because the top kind of is weird. Like the castle pillars and white section kind of. But they end up working differently, you'll kind of see. It's almost different per color. Except the yellow castle is different than the yellow arches, which I don't really understand. But again, that's like a final part kind of problem. So yeah, you should end up with this. Now, you'll have windows already, and you can kind of note how they're positioned between one another and just in general, I think. So if I take these, okay. I just kicked a plug onto my wall, and thankfully it wasn't my actual PC, but it just turned off my monitors, and I was like, what? Anyway, we're gonna ignore the stuff on the right here because it's annoying, but the stuff here on the left, these windows, you'll notice there's 4, essentially, blocks between each one, and you can just kind of mark this with whatever. Continuing left, you want to continue the 4 red, and then instead of using gray glass, you want black concrete, and you're gonna want 5 more of these windows, so I'll go 4... That's 5, so close though. 4 and then 3 black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 black. And again, I want to make sure that I have 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll just end with the 3 black. I can extend each black concrete up by 2, just so they're squares as well, even though the windows are actually circles, but it's all an illusion. It's a square, or a circle made out of a square. And you can fill the red concrete until it is 1 row higher than these as well, which is going to be all the way across both left and right. Now, when you fill right, any polished blackstone in your way, just get rid of around the window here because we don't want it. Polished blackstone is unwanted, but yeah. And it'll end up 1 row shorter than the terracotta. That's fine, and now we want it. But, and so again, we'll just kind of break in the quartz in a little bit. I think after we have the arches entirely in place would make sense. I don't know, these are kind of annoying arches, but... Hey, if I've done it once, surely a second time wouldn't be that bad, right? I guess I'll find out by the end of this if I still hold true to that. Also, I think I've given up on trying to make this video a reasonable length, and I'm just gonna go as long as I want, because who's gonna stop me? Like, 15 more minutes is kind of what I'm shooting for. Anyway, yeah, it will look really bare right now, but that's fine. I think part of that is also because of the texturing that I'm used to. Maybe for you, it's like, yeah, it looks normal, but I mean, other than obviously the square windows, that is definitely weird. So, if we take each archway, or I guess not archway, rather, the curved windows, you want to, we're going to take the top left-hand corner of the, either black concrete or gray glass, whichever. And from it, you want to count left by 3 and up by 1 and place an upside-down warp slab. You're going to do this on each of them. Alternatively, you can also count from the top right-hand corner right 2 and up 1 once you've done that first one. And that'll just help you a lot, too, because that one's definitely easier to count. Like, I can just kind of do this. And then I don't want one there, because that's obviously a different thing. But yeah, you want to make sure they're left of each window, which is why I used left rather than the closer one. But both technically work. You want to then bring each of those upside-down warp slabs up with a regular warp slab. Surely I didn't mess up, right? I actually didn't. That's crazy. Each of those warp slabs then can be brought right with a plank. I'll give you a second, because I did just absolutely go sicko mode on that last one. Then I'll go up with a warp slab. Not enough time, apparently. Oh, I just messed up too, and then missed the other ones. That's brilliant of me. That's really good. And then you'll go, again, right with a plank and up with a slab from that. Might as well do the double, because, don't want to throw too many at the same time, but also sometimes you do have to do a little bit more than just one. And then from that, you're going to go right with a plank, and then I'll just give you the rest. Right with 2 upside-down slabs. Place a slab on top of each of those, and then extend right with a plank from there. And yeah. It is nice to start this for me, I'm not going to lie. I was going to do, if members are watching this, I will probably have made a community post either as you're seeing this or probably before, actually. I just didn't want to do any more of Chapter 2. I do apologize for that little inconvenience, but you'll get it soon, hopefully. Yeah, this should look like this. Why does that look off to me? Let's see. No, we're good. It just, for some reason, it just doesn't look right. Either way, I'm going to ignore that. And you want to take the top warped plank, and you're going to extend it back by 1. This step is going to be a little bit weird, but it's, I think, the best way I can describe filling it in. You want to bring that warp plank then down with red concrete until it just connects to the other red. And then you'll take each of those rows of red concrete and you'll extend them all the way left to fill in these little peaks, but you're not going further. So essentially, as I always say, you're going behind regular blocks and upside-down slabs, but you are not going behind planks. Or, like, actual slabs themselves. Then you know you have a problem if you're going that far, because then that'll definitely stick out, but kind of a weird way to go about doing it, but it makes, I think, the most sense rather than being like, okay, yeah, here's others separately done or whatever. And it also shows that cut off pretty well. You should have this. Again, it looks weird. It'll start looking better as we do more. Are these in line? Okay, well, yeah. Both to the right and left of what we've made, you can place an additional row of red concrete on top of the red we have. And again, this will include the windows and also get that polished black stone out of my face. I don't want to see it, because it's not nice. And it'll also be in line with the terracotta now in height, if that's important to anybody. Whee! And we're still just going to leave the left side because it's not important yet. On top of that, from that point, you want to place a row of warped planks on the red concrete. This will kind of just tuck in behind the arches here on, actually, well, I guess the left. On the right, it'll just go over. And you can also go on top of the terracotta and back, because we might as well. There's no reason in waiting. You'll then place a row of warp slabs on top of that row of planks. Almost there. Not really. Yeah, guys, we're almost done the build. Totally. And then you want to go in again with another row of planks. I'm not even going to connect anywhere on the left there. I'll worry about that in a different part. Then up with a row of slabs again, and then we have 2 more things to do, but they're not both the same direction, so don't just immediately assume. Because it needs an overhang. And then one more time, you'll go in with a row of planks at the top. And it should also be in line. You'll notice it's in line with the height of the rest of the little peaks, which is cool. Or the curved bits, I guess. Off the bottom, you're going to place a row of warp slabs extending out from the original row of planks. At the right side, you do want to make sure you have a sharp edge for the corner here, just placing a slab there or a right angle. On the left, we don't actually have the side in, so I just wouldn't think about it at all. Just kind of stop abruptly like we have been. Some of that might have to get chiseled off later. I don't really remember how that works, but... I mean, I know how it works. I just don't know if it needs to be chiseled. So... for the 3x3 windows now, I feel like it's a good time to do these. If you remember from the inside how we did those, or if you followed really any of my tutorials that use circular windows that are 3x3s, you should know what to do here. In each corner of the window, you want to place warp stairs kind of facing towards the middle. At the bottom, they're right side up. At the top, they're upside down. I'll just do 2 for now. Between these stairs at the top and bottom, you're going to place warped trapdoors with another trapdoor kind of extending out from it like so. You'll do the same thing on the sides, but they'll have to be opened up. So they'll be opened up against the stairs here and then opened up against these sides of those. And it'll look like this, essentially. And you can kind of see that setup. And you want to do this on every single one of the 3x3 windows. But I want to say there's 9 of them, right? Because there's 4 glass. Yeah, there's 4 glass and 5 blacked off ones. Another thing I processed as I was building like that part and as I've been, you know, doing the custom interior is there's a vent where a room would be there. So what actually is there then, you know? Like I'm trying to just process what it would be, because if the vent is there, like, it's got to be a room in front of the vent that's a small room, right? But then what are the top arches for at that point? Because they do go that far, I'm like 95% sure. Another thing I want to mention about the interior is the top ones don't seem to have windows on the front, even though they do in the game. So that's another thing like this, where they're just blacked off flat with the wall. Generally, again, I don't really think it matters if it's in or out. Like, for obviously, you'll have to, for some, have it in, or have it out, I mean. But, yeah. It's kind of up to you if you want to go for consistency with it, or just whatever you have to do, right? Become ungovernable, except you have to be governable, I think, here. Only slightly. It's an interesting comparison. Probably not the correct one, but an interesting one nonetheless. And yeah, I think we're gonna do the polka dots, and then it'll be game. Although I do want to probably do the right side, or the left, I mean, a little bit. Anyway, you should have this. We're just gonna kind of sweep across and do them as I point them out to myself. So first thing, under this literally the first gray glass window here at the top right will be this rectangular one in this room. The leftmost 4 bottom glass you'll have smooth quartz under, and then the middle 2 under that will be brought down. If you go left a little bit more, you'll have this 2x2 square of quartz between the windows. Extend it up a row. This quartz can be brought right by 1 and left by 2. Leftmost one will be brought up by 1, and then the one to the right of that will be brought up by 2. Sweeping along, we're kind of good for a while. The next one isn't until... we have the one on the bottom here, which is kind of between, or like around a couple of windows. You're going to be just left of the window that's kind of touching this curved one. You'll be left of that on this one, the third last. And you'll just place a smooth quartz under each black concrete. The final window, you'll actually do the same thing, this final curved window. And you'll also extend the smooth quartz here right by 1 and left by 2. So yeah, it should go over both windows perfectly like so. You'll then extend each of the smooth quartz blocks there up by 2. And at the left side, this kind of inner row will be brought up with another smooth quartz. Counting to the left between the second and third windows, which are these two, if you're on this row of red concrete, you'll count up an additional 2 and break this, or replace this red concrete with the quartz along with the one to the right. Extend that row of 2 up an additional 3 rows, and then out of the middle 2 rows, you'll break left and right another bit. Trace back down so you're still between the second and third window, and then you'll count left another one between the third and fourth, where you're going to actually replace the red, the red between them with smooth quartz. Extend it up by 1, then go left by 4. Middle 3 smooth quartz can be brought up. And then if you take the bottom right smooth quartz here, you'll go down diagonally left 1 and left by 2. Head all the way to the final window, which is this one, and to the right of it, you're actually doing the same thing you just did, where you're placing the quartz between it, going up, then left 4, middle 3 broken up, and then you'll have the 3 smooth quartz below the right 3 black. From this window itself, if you actually count right 2 more windows, you want to trace the right half of this all the way up, the rightmost black, and you want to replace this red with the smooth quartz. Extend it right by 1 and left by 3, and then again the middle 3 smooth quartz can be brought down a row like so. On the left side, I want to start with the far back here, this row of 3 smooth quartz. You want to take the backmost smooth quartz specifically, which is this one, and you want to extend it up by 8. Extend the top one right or forward by 2, whichever you prefer to consider it as. I'm calling it right. The top and bottom ones, there you'll go up diagonal, I guess diagonally, right diagonally in, sure, with a quartz, then right 1, in 1, right diagonally in 1 and connect together, and then fill in the center with smooth quartz. Where you have the opening here, you want to take the red concrete to the left of it and extend it up with 4 smooth quartz. The top 2 smooth quartz can be brought right a row, and then the bottom one there can be brought right again. Of the original row of 4, the left 2 smooth quartz can be brought left by 1. From the diagonal here, you're taking these both the rows of 2 here and extending them up with 4 red concrete each. God, I'm losing it a little bit, apparently. The rightmost diagonal or closest to the front wall will be brought up with a red, and then 3 smooth quartz. The other 3 will be brought up with 5 smooth quartz. And then of this back row, these middle 3 smooth quartz can be brought back diagonally left with smooth quartz. You're then filling in the rest of this left wall with red concrete, and I'm going to actually just take the top here and kind of trace this, and then I can go over the top here. And the only thing you want to make sure is that you leave the doorway down here open. You're just going to bring the right concrete to the right of it up, but you want to leave this 2x3 open. If you want, you can add sidewalks where all the doors are. That's kind of going to be a later thing anyway. But I didn't because I thought it would stick out a little bit too much. And I thought the grass made enough sense anyway. And I could make a good excuse for it. Which was just the fact that it got overgrown. Anyway, you want the same thing here with the warped on top of the red concrete. And the same thing that we did before with the slabs on top. Then the planks in a row, slabs on top, and then planks in a row again, and then the slabs off the bottom row as well. Off this bottom row, planks going around. This doesn't have any kind of additions or corners or anything, you're just going perfectly along the diagonal. And yeah, again, if you want to push all the black concrete in, I actually might recommend it. I'm just not for this because 1, it's a little bit faster, and I'm trying not to be here for 15 years. And 2, it doesn't really make a difference. You could also do like glass in line with the window and then just fill it in behind that with black concrete. Entirely up to you. But anyway, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is Poppy Playtime, or the Playtime Co. Exterior, Chapter 1 exterior, whatever, but Part 1 completed. It's definitely not complete, as you can tell. Think I hope you guys did enjoy this video. This will certainly be a while. And, yeah, with that being said, I should probably clear my inventory. Have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.